Peace, everyone here. Welcome to A.W.A.R.E Sunday, April 7th, 2019 call. I thank you guys for being on it here tonight. I'm very excited to share this webinar, to be live here with you guys, to give a bit of more of my time and my knowledge. And I've put together this awesome PowerPoint presentation for everyone to be able to get the information, get the knowledge, and be able to be better equipped moving forward, especially starting a new day tomorrow. Most of you are going to go back to your jobs that have you just over broke to continue to be a slave to a clock. Well, I'm here to tell you today that as long as you have goals and dreams and desires and passions in life to do better and not continue to be a slave to a clock one day, you're going to achieve all your goals and dreams and passions and desires in life. I'm proof of this and many other people all over the world as well. So without further ado, I want to thank you guys for being on here tonight. Welcome to tonight's show. I'm your host, Emilio, with A.W.A.R.E, areweallreleadyeducated.com. Tonight I'm going to be sharing the Strawman explanation in simple terms, the Cestui trust, and what it means to you, how to operate on the private side, and benefits of becoming a secure party creditor. The straw man explained in simple terms. If you're new to learning about common law, the straw man is the first place of education. Okay, when starting your path to becoming aware, free, and sovereign, learning about the straw man is one of the first topics we recommend reading. Becoming aware of the straw man is important, as you need to learn the distinct differences between you and your debtor twin. One law dictionary that I love to give out. It's small. I'll tell you right now. It has. I should know this already by heart. I've read this book twice. It has 859 pages. Well, actually, it's 860 pages. Black's Law Dictionary, fourth edition. They talk about the straw man on page 720. Okay. Again, we speak factual here at A.W.A.R.E, myself included. I've been teaching for many years, helping people become free, break the chains, the shackles that they have been enslaved to, so they can go and do their own research with the tools and be better equipped to find how they can actually become free by, of course, empowering other people. As long as I'm providing information, as long as I'm giving you guys factual information, case laws, and laws, just know it's not enough, because you have to go and do your own research, not believe anything I say, Team Aware says, or the paralegals at Team Aware say. You must do your own research, okay? Very important, because without your own research, you're going to come to a brick wall. You're going to be faced with many trials and tribulations and many unanswered questions. If you don't do your own research, you don't do your own reading, if you're not listening to audios to better yourself, then you're not going to have success in anything you do in life. It all comes down to education and becoming more aware. Okay, what is a straw man? The straw man is a legal fictional entity created at your birth, as defined in Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 720. Strawman is defined as a fictitious person, especially one that is weak or flawed. A tedious and exaggerated counter argument that an advocate makes for the sole purpose of disapproving it. A third party used in some transactions as a temporary transferee to allow the principal parties to accomplish something that is otherwise impermissible. A person hired to post a worthless bail bond for the release of the accused. A straw man is a legal fiction person. What is a person? As found in Black's Law Dictionary, 6th edition, page 1142. Person is defined as, in general usage, a human being. Example, natural person, though by statute term may include labor organizations, partnerships, associations, corporations, legal representatives, trustees in bankruptcy, or receivers. See example, National Labor Relations Act, Section 2129, USCA, Section 152, Uniform Partnership Act, Section 2. A person is defined here as various legal entities: a corporation, association, city, partnership, etc. A human being, an individual, or natural person. The simplest term to understand is that of any legal entity, such as a corporation, every legal entity is created by the state itself and under the exclusive authority of the state that created it. In Black's law, human being is defined as monster. Quick look into the Title 26 USC Section 7343 definition of the term person. The term person, as used in this chapter, Chapter 75, includes an officer or employees of a corporation or a member or employee of a partnership who, as such officer, employee, or member, is under a duty to perform the act in respect of which the violation occurs. The term person is defined as an officer or employee of a corporation or a member or employee of a partnership. The strawman explanation. The strawman is an artificial person that exists in the legal fiction world of commerce. The strawman was created by law shortly after you were born via the registration of the application for your birth certificate. The name for the strawman is your name in all capital letters. You will notice that the inscription on the birth certificate is your name in all capital letters. The English language has precise rules of grammar that make no provision for writing proper nouns in all capital letters. So your name spelled with all capital letters is a fictitious name. Your straw man has the same sounding name as your name, but is an artificial entity which exists only by force or in contemplation of law. The all caps name is not your true name, which consists of the given Christian name plus the surname, family name, and appears with only initial letters capitalized. The all caps version of your name is a trade name, the name under which you do business. In court, the strawman is your all capital name. Is that you? No, but you claim to be in open court that you are, but not until you become aware of your legal fiction twin or debtor. That's a distinct difference between John Aware and John Aware. Okay, as you see the difference, okay, you can tell you, John Aware, the upper and lower case name are the agent heir over the ens legis estate. That's why I tell people when I do my consultations and I do my public speaking, it's like you have a birth certificate. That birth certificate is not you. That's title to your estate, to your trust, to your all caps name, to your property. Okay? When you go into these public venues like the courts, you have to let them know, put it on the record. If you have to go to court, if you have to do a special appearance, okay, you let them know you are the agent heir of that all caps name, ens legis. That's who they're doing business with, that's who they're coming after. The word man or woman are terms of nature, but who created nature? Some would say God, others would say the Creator, a term often used by the founder of our country. While others might hold a different view, on the other hand, we see person as a term of the civil law. In court, John Aware is making a special appearance to defend his estate. John Aware, all caps name, but careful to not claim that he's the capital name per se. You see, you don't want to go in there speaking crazy. You don't want to go in there so they can start labeling you, even though they do it most of the time. But so what? As long as you have your paperwork, you know who you are, who you're not. It doesn't matter how they perceive you. But you don't want to go in there saying much. Let your paperwork be your your mouthpiece. Let your pen and paperwork be your mouthpiece. The pen is mightier than the sword. Okay. In court, John Aware is making a special appearance. As you know, you always go in there, special appearance. You're there to present the agent heir of the estate, and again, paperwork will do all the talking for you. Okay. That's why it's very important to become a secured creditor. In my opinion, I've seen it work countless hundreds, if not probably thousands of times for people, including myself, okay? Including myself. I'm going to be doing a webinar soon how I was able to get double nationality, not include a social, because the living man or woman does not have a social security number. Okay, doesn't matter what other people are saying that you need to put a social security number on you to get a passport. Listen, I'm here to tell you guys there's a couple of ways that you can do things, many ways how you can do many things in life, but you have to go with what you feel most comfortable with. If you're okay with putting a social and saying you're not a US citizen, great. If you're not okay with saying you're not a US citizen and putting a social or not putting a social, it all depends on who you, the individual, how you want to approach your sovereignty, your freedom, and pretty much defend yourself against a system that has been set up to make money off of you and your labor. Okay? Now, continuing on. The straw man, being artificial, lives in the artificial place called the public. At the same time as people are acting collectively in the larger body of people called the state and national government, they maintain their ability to act individually on a private basis. The people did not give up the rights, they did not delegate to the government, they retained those rights. We, the sovereign people, give credit to this great nation and to the United States of America. The government created the legal fiction character to create a debtor that creates debt. If you're in a different country like Canada, if you're in a different country like another country, UK, all business is done under the Uniform Commercial Code, all commerce, which we will discuss that further down. Okay, because a straw man lives on the public side of the government, he is part of the public government and functions under the laws of the public. This is necessary and proper because the creator of an entity has the right to control it. You see, since the government created the straw man, it is it's only right that the straw man lives under the rules of its creator. But once the straw man has been redeemed, the government is no longer in control of the straw man. It's like when you have children, as an example, and they get a certain age, and they want to start going out and living under your roof. Well, you there's rules and guidelines. If you want to continue to live under your parents' roof, but you still want to do certain things, it doesn't work like that. And same applies here with the straw man. You got to separate yourself. Let them know, show them you're operating on the private side, but you know how to use the public side to seek and get your remedy as they promised. The straw man is now controlled by the man using or woman using his right to private contracts or her rights to private contracts. The man woman has left the public as a beneficiary in some relationship to the straw man to live privately as a creditor in an aggregate relationship with the straw man. As far as this relationship is concerned, the straw man is privately controlled. The straw man still exists as a public entity because that is the only world in which he has reality. His relationship with the man is private. The relationship with the man or woman being is controlling because the living, has a high priority lien on the straw man than the government. The government began to benefit from the straw man in 1933. In the article on the U.S. bankruptcy, we've already seen evidence that the United States went bankrupt in 1933. When this happened, the governors of all the states met to discuss what should be done. How does the law see us? They see us as human beings. What does monster mean? According to Black's Law Dictionary 1948 edition, a human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal. A monster hath no inheritable blood and cannot be heir to any land, albeit it be brought forth in marriage. But although it hath deformity in any part of its body, yet if it hath human shape, it may be heir. 2. B.I. Commissions 248. About the straw man and your birth certificate. Are you aware that when you were born, the government created another fictional entity? When you were born with your birth name, the strawman account was immediately created after our birth and went into slavery in 1932. Understanding how the strawman works is step one to escaping the matrix, winning in court, and gaining your freedom. When you are born, your parents register you with the government as a corporation by receiving and signing a birth certificate. In a few years, your corporation, aka Strawman, will receive a taxpayer ID number called a social security number. This is so you can be used as collateral for the government to acquire debt. That's right, you and your labor, time, and energy is what backs up the national debt. You are stock. When your birth certificate was monetized and converted into a United States government bond shortly after your birth by your mother, your net worth became unlimited into billions of dollars without your nor your mother's and father's knowledge. When the United States declared bankruptcy in 1933 under the bankruptcy strawman law known as H.J.R. 192, House Joint Resolution, pledged all Americans as collateral debt slaves against the national debt to the internal national bankers, gave all the land to the international bankers, Federal Reserve Corporation, and confiscated and outlawed all the gold except for 1 ounce for each person, thus eliminating the lawful means, gold and silver coins, by which you could legally pay your debt. The United States also assumed legal responsibility for providing a new way for you to pay. In 1933, the United States government declared that they would pay all of your debts with the money they received from your labor, birth certificate, and social security registered number by what is known as your reserve account worth billions. The United States corporation government did that by providing what is known as the exemption account. The bankers loan credit and not money because there has not been any lawful money since June 5th, 1933. The exemption account is your exemption from having to pay for anything. Does A.W.A.R.E help with DTC strawman accessing? No. A.W.A.R.E does not specialize in DTC strawman account opening or accessing. Best you become learneth and study the UCC, the strawman, and most importantly, how to remain in honor. So many times, I think it's every day. I have consultations 6, 7 times a week, few times a day, where I speak to people, and all they really care. What I'm not gonna say all. Most people are very interested on how to tap into the treasury, how to tap into their Cestui trust account, gain access to the DTC when they don't even know the meaning of an ens legis. They don't even know fully what a straw man is. Okay, no, you cannot have access to DTC because you guys who are asking for this have not even picked up a Black's Law dictionary, let alone a dictionary to look up the words that you are not aware of. Okay, and it's very seen across the board with so many people who just care about accessing and getting money. Focus on getting your debts resolved, setting off these accounts, okay, and then properly redeeming your hard-earned money, cash, checks, etc., into lawful money, okay. And then once you continue to learn and educate yourself, and it takes some time, it's not going to happen overnight, then you will be ready. You will know when you will be ready. If the men in black come over to you and start questioning you and start asking you questions, are you going to pee or poop on yourself? Or are you going to be competent to know how to reply, how to respond? Most of you won't. So first of all, educate yourself, become aware, learn, and realize that nothing will be handed down to you if you don't take the time out to educate and read. Because it takes time, it takes dedication to learn about this. Because what they have been doing to the people for so many years, enough is enough. More and more people are waking up. Okay, many millions of people are able to access their DTC, are able to access and use the Treasury, the United, Internal Revenue Service. Okay, they know how to operate, how to work on the private side. Okay, so this is why I stress to everyone I speak to: you must learn, educate yourself. Okay, get the fundamentals down. First, learn about the straw man. Very important. Once you know that, you know you're no longer living as a piece of paper. Okay? And you know how to defend yourself, and you don't need a lawyer or an attorney to defend you because you are competent. Okay? When you become competent and you are confident, then no one can try to use fear mongering as the governments have been doing for so long. The Cestui Trust and what it means to you. What is a Cestui Trust? In short, Cestui Trust, or CQV, Strawman, as defined in Black's Law Dictionary: he who has a right to a beneficial interest in and out of an estate, the legal title to which is vested in another. 2. Waslib, real property 163, the person who possesses the equitable right to property and receives the rents, issues, and profits thereof, the legal estate of which is vested in a trustee. Cestui Trust, the straw man. Rule of grammar for the use of capital letters used in a name. When capital letters are used anywhere in a name, this always refers to a legal entity, fiction, company, or corporation, no exceptions. Example: John Doe, or John A.W.A.R.E, or Jane A.W.A.R.E. Passport, driver license, marriage certificate, and birth certificate. Cestui Trust, pronounced Set a K, common term in New Zealand and Australia, or strawman, common term in USA or Canada, is a legal entity, fiction, created and owned by the government. Whom created it? Legally, we are considered to be a fiction, a concept or idea expressed as a name, a symbol. That legal person has no consciousness. It is a juristic person. Ens legis, a name, word written on a piece of paper. Jason Whitney, presenter and researcher, The Occult World of Commerce. The legal entity fiction is registered by the Department of Commerce under the Admiralty Maritime Law jurisdiction, Law of the Water jurisdiction of Commerce and War. You, the baby, are what is called a Cestui, pronounced Sedeke, trust, the straw man, or rather the collateral of the corpus body of the trust. Your labor is the energy you generate as a living being. However, as a baby, you are deemed invalid, disabled, and incompetent. And even though your mother birthed you, she agrees to be the contract. Once the negotiable instrument birth certificate is transferred to the Department of Commerce, they pledge your labor for your lifetime as its secured asset and proceeds to assure different from insure your labor against it's the government's debt, and it subsequently gets an underwriter to insure your labor. The underwriter determines a lowball figure from your labor to be valued at $1 million, and it takes out a bond which is held at the bank. The numbers on your birth certificate are the tracking numbers for Reserve Bank of State name. That is the letter designation of the state bank which holds that bond. Example: E is the Bank of Virginia. The letter of the number on the birth certificate is the bank that is holding a bond which represents your labor for your lifetime. Your labor has been insured and assured, and money has been borrowed against it. This is how people have been turned into collateral for the Federal Reserve Bank, which is nothing federal, which is a private corporation, by the way. Many don't even know that, yet they want to tap into their bonds. Funny guys. Patrick Devine will speak about capitis diminutio, Capitis diminuto maxima, meaning a maximum loss of status through the use of capitalization. Example, John Aware, okay? Or Aware John. The highest or most comprehensive loss of status. This occurred when a man's condition was changed from one of freedom to one of bondage, when he or she became a slave. It swept away with it all rights of citizenship and all family rights. This is why you do not want to claim to be a U.S. 14th Amendment citizen. Because of the commercial fictional world, it's important to operate on the private side at all times. I tell my clients all the time, okay? You can say you're a free man, you can say you're sovereign, you can say all this till you get blue in the face to these to these corporations, okay? Courts, you know, when you ever have to be in front of a magistrate, a judge, a lawyer, or attorney, whatever, okay, it's all in commerce. And for you to say that you're operating in private and have no paperwork, have no evidence, no proof to show this, then you're not going to get remedy. There have been people that have gotten remedy. Very few will get the remedy that they're seeking, especially if we're talking about treasury, accessing the DTC. You have to be established. You have, you know, again, there's so many things I want to talk about on this live webinar tonight, but I'm only able to discuss the PowerPoint presentation. But I will be doing more videos like this because people need the knowledge, because there's a lot of things that people are not aware of as of yet, but I do know people are becoming awoken, and that's beautiful. The straw man is on the public side, whereas you, the living man and woman, are on the private side. Because there's a straw man that has been created, you have to separate yourself from your debtor. One of the best ways to create a distinction between you and your debtor is to become a secure party creditor. Now, I'm going to say this because so many people I've spoken to throughout the years, okay, love the information, love the knowledge. But there are a few that have said, but I was told I don't have to become a secure creditor. I was told that I don't need to do anything because it's my unalienable rights and so forth and so on. Let me just say this. There have been people in the community, not mentioning no one in particular or any groups at all whatsoever, because that is not how A.W.A.R.E operates, that have said you don't need to become a secure creditor. And then you see them months down the road, they're selling secure party creditor paperwork. And then the stuff that they do sell is crap. Okay? Doesn't, people are not having successes. Paperwork missing. Okay? There's other communities, other websites selling secure creditors way higher than A.W.A.R.E is selling it for. Okay? And you cannot compare the crap that is being sold on these other websites, because we're getting the emails from people complaining about other organizations, other private people in the ecosystem within the community of sovereignty. Okay? They're only doing it for what? To make a quick buck, but they don't really care. They're not giving you the customer support. They're not answering your questions or emails the way A.W.A.R.E does. So you have to understand that just because you read or heard someone say you don't need to become a secure creditor, just know that you are the one that has to educate yourself, teach yourself, read, and find out for yourself what is best for you. Everything is not for everyone, okay? Just know that you're the one that has to get educated and become knowledgeable. And think about it. If you have no paperwork to show that you operate on the private side, they're going to assume, and with good assumption, that you do operate on the public because you have a driver's license, you have a marriage license, you probably have a dog, a cat license. You need a license for everything. Guys, you don't. Okay? And when you start waking up and realizing this, then you're going to be free and start breaking the shackles that you have been enslaved since who knows how long. All depends on your age. okay? But it's never too late. We have baby boomers, okay? 69, 79, 89. They still want to become free. They learn about this later on in their life, and guess what? They become secure creditors and they start seeing changes in their lives. They start having more abundance, more opportunities. It's not going to be easy, but whoever said anything that's joyful and loving and beautiful in life was going to be easy to obtain, okay? What is a secure party creditor? A secured party creditor is someone who holds a superior lien over the strawman debtor. As a secured party creditor, you can eliminate your credit card debt and stop foreclosures. You become a secure party creditor today via UCC1 lien filing process through our UCC redemption book. Okay? Now, becoming a secured party creditor is your first step towards freedom and sovereignty. Once completed, you will have established the foundation to manage the commercial affairs of the debtor and the standing to protect yourself from all public claims made against your strawman, which is your name in all capital letters. This can be accomplished by filing your UCC 1 Uniform Commercial Code properly. Many people have come to aware. Again, I see the emails, I get the people, the testimonials. Well, I did my secure creditor with this organization and the paperwork was missing, or they told me I had to file with a million agencies. Guys, you're being bamboozled, okay? When it's done right, there's power behind it. When it's done improperly, you're not going to have success. And when many people don't have success, what do? They quit. Just like many people, when they start a New Year's resolution, couple of weeks, they've already quit. Okay? You have to be persistent. Persistence overcomes resistance. While the secured party creditor status rebuts the presumption that you are a property of the state, you must still bargain for your rights as a sovereign. Only citizens, slaves of the state, have privileges. For sovereigns, rights without a contract are a fantasy. If you do not see your image on the depiction of the founding fathers at the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States, you are not party to the contract. This last statement may be a shocking revelation to many of you, but it is nonetheless true. If you did not gather in private discussion with your fellow man for the purpose of determining how you wish to establish your strawman account by doing your UCC1 lien filing process through a UCC method, then you have not established yourself. We provide you with the filing process, with the redemption book as well included. The first step in returning yourself to a sovereign individual is that you have to take back your artificial straw man and reclaiming it as your debtor. If you were to take a look at your driver's license, social security card right now, you would see your name in all capital letters. That is your straw man, your ens legis, your all caps name that the government created for you without your consent, but it was your mother who gave them consent, or your father or your guardian. To take control of the straw man, you need to file a UCC1 financing statement the appropriate way. Okay, many times I see people, they do it on their own. Not saying you can't. All I'm saying is you must learn, read, study. Make sure you know 100% without a shadow of a doubt what you are doing. If not, you can hinder your process and your successes. So once you have a UCC1, you do a UCC1 financing statement file with your Secretary of State's office. The UCC1, what it does, it defines exactly who the debtor is and who the secure party creditor is. Okay, your name in all capital letters is the debtor, and your name with initial capitals and the rest lowercase letters is you, the secure party creditor. Okay, as more and more people perform this process, some states are making the filing of UCC1 forms more difficult. Some states are refusing to file it altogether. This almost was going to happen to me had I not be persistent, had I not been very diligent and I'm going to say aggressive in my approach to not leave that office without them doing what they needed to do, because I tell you, I'm going to be sharing a webinar on the process of how I went to my state county and got it done successfully, but it wasn't easy. They lied to my face. I had a witness. They lied to his face as well. They said they don't do those type of things there until I called the manager and I spoke to them. I told them I was going to hold them liable for refusing to do their duties. Okay? And guess what? 45 minutes after, okay, going back and forth with them, they agreed that they will file it, and they did what they promised me they would. I had to be non-combative, professional, okay? Know my stuff. Know that I am not a straw man. I'm the agent heir of my estate, and I want to put this on the record. And I was successful in that, and that was the reason why I was able to get my double nationality, my other passport from my other country, because I was very stern on my approach on not leaving that office until I got what I know was lawful. Okay, even though they said no, that doesn't exist, we don't do that, and they try to make stories up, I was hearing no as not an option. No was not an option. Okay, guys and gals, you have to know who you are and who you're not, and know how to hold these public officials accountable. The other part of the reclamation of your strawman process is the security agreement. Though this document is not filed with the UCC1 form, it should be referred to in the financing statement section of the UCC1. It is a properly executed security agreement that makes your filing legitimate, since it is an agreement between your flesh and blood you and your artificial you. The UCC1 form should be filed in your state of birth, since that is the port of entry for your strawman. If you are living in and own property and or do business in a different state at present, for your property protection, a UCC1 should also be filed in your current state. The UCC1 financing statement, as well as the other information filed in on the UCC1, is most critical, not only for the effectiveness of it, but also on the success in getting your forms filed. Benefits of becoming a secure party creditor. There are many benefits of being an SPC. One is the aspects of protections that it offers. Another is the statements of fact that you make that become public record, and even the discharge abilities that many have utilized with great success. Becoming a secure party creditor allows you to: 1. Gain freedom from the government; 2. Separate yourself from the debtor and you, the upper and lower case name; 3. Set off and discharge debts of almost all sorts, including student loans, because that's a question I get asked quite often. Create a superior lien over your living flesh and blood self and your debtor. Establish your standing in law as sovereign. 6. Remain and act on the private while handling public affairs. The best way to handle the public is on the private. 7. Explore more possibilities for remedies at law for your advantage, such as diplomatic immunity. Do not detain. 8. Asset and trust protection. 9. Seen in honor and respected at law from public officials, and more. It just baffles my mind. It's fascinating to see, ever since I started operating on the private side, how I was treated. How courtrooms, they will wipe out the courtroom for me. And when in the beginning, I just didn't know why, and until I started, realizing they want no one else to hear this information, this knowledge. They want the sheeple to never become people, okay? They want to keep the sheeple just as sheeple are. That, right? That's the way the sheeple do?
Yes.
Now, Uniform Commercial Code. Let's talk about the Uniform Commercial Code. The reason why I am showing you this definition is because some don't believe the UCC is real, and it's comical, it's laughable, because this is how all commerce is done all over the world. You see, a uniform law that governs commercial transactions all over the world, including sales of goods, secure transactions, and negotiable instruments. The code has been adopted in some form by every state and the District of Columbia. Bonus, redeeming lawful money. I did a video on redeeming lawful money. Got so much great feedback. I thank you guys who appreciate, okay, who send your feedback to a team aware, being grateful for these videos, for these webinars. You know, I'm a very busy individual, okay? I run many online businesses as well. I also teach people about health and law and how health and law correlates together. But I'm not going to bore you with any health today. I'm going to give you this bonus in redeeming lawful money, but I've been getting so much great feedback, team aware as well, because people are not aware of this. And the reason they're not aware, either they're new to this or there's so much to learn and they haven't gotten to this. Okay, this is a way you can redeem in lawful money and start getting money back. Now, how to write the non-endorsement for lawful money. This process is simple and will work for you if you have a job that pays you by check and works also when you deposit cash into your bank account, checks. It doesn't matter. Even if you have a business, this also works. If you run a business, you can also redeem in lawful money. What is the non-endorsement? The non-endorsement is a verbiage that you write on the back of checks or cash deposit slips. It's called non-endorsement because you are not endorsing it like you would a normal check that you don't redeem in lawful money. The non-endorsement verbiage: redeem in lawful money per 12 USC section 411. By, you put your autograph, you never sign, you always autograph, okay? Autograph your name in red ink, all rights reserved, without prejudice, UCC. Note, autograph your name in red ink, followed by all rights reserved, without prejudice, UCC 1-308. Another note, people are not using red ink and they're still having revenue. They're still having successes. So this is just if you want to take it, because the living men and women sign in red, okay? The non-endorsement sample. This is what you write on the back of a check or cash deposit slip. Redeem in lawful money per 12 USC section 411. By, and you autograph as mentioned in the slide above. Now, please, people, any questions and stuff like that, leave it for the end of the webinar where we have someone live on the chat that will be responding to you as well. I'm also going to be available for a few moments as it's a Sunday night here. Again, this takes a lot of time and energy from my already very busy schedule, but I do this for Team Aware because I love Team Aware and I love the project that they're doing. I love Patrick Devine, and this is all in his memory, and his great work would never be lost or forgotten. I promise you that. That was a promise I made to him. Educational and entertainment purposes only. This is an example of the type of checks you will receive from the Treasury, from your state. Once again, redeeming lawful money per 12 USC section 411, and you autograph. The website redeeminglawfulmoney.com will be running live again. They're just doing some work on that site, I've been told by the developers. How to redeem lawful money using direct deposit. Make copies of your pay stubs. On the copies, you'll write the redemption verbiage and make copies of that. You'll keep the original, and the original copies you send the second copies in with your tax filing. We're going to give a free PDF on the process and how you can go about it. If you want Team Aware to do this for you, they do have a custom package that they can create, and they'll get this set up for you as well. The purpose of writing the non-endorsement. The purpose of writing the non-endorsement on the check is to record it for tax purposes. So you need to deposit the checks with the non-endorsement written on it, and either in blue ink, red ink, it doesn't matter. Autograph your name in red ink, fine, But once again, don't let this, if you don't have a certain color ink pen, just write it in what you have, okay? If you just sign it with only your signature, then you are endorsing Fed notes. Even if you cash the check, you still need to do the non-endorse and make a copy of the check you cashed, or also write the non-endorsement on the check stub as well, so you can file it with your taxes. Okay, there's nothing to be afraid of at the bank. I get to speak to so many people, which is beautiful. I speak to so many wonderful people who are afraid, who can't believe that the government will do something like this. But I'm here to tell you one thing. When I first started many years ago, I was also afraid. I was also a bit intimidated. But guess what? Fear is our biggest emotion, but I overcame fear with knowing that I was doing what was rightfully right for me to do. Okay? I knew that if I didn't step up to protect and defend mine, then my children, okay, would have to suffer, and I would leave them what? A legacy of debt. Okay, that's what many people do not get. You're not doing this for you. If you're doing this for anyone, if you have children, you're doing this for your children. Educate them. Look what has happened with the school systems, the indoctrination of these schools. Okay, we have to take control and charge of our minds and of our loved ones and our families and pass this down to them. Okay, pay it forward. Okay, there's nothing to be afraid of, again, because you know many people feel that they're gonna be harassed at the bank or something's gonna happen. Those employees don't even know what the heck is going on, what a Federal Reserve note is, and how to handle them. Okay, the banking system is set up that way on purpose. These bankers don't know what's going on. They're sheeple. They're uneducated. But it's not your job. It's not your duty to educate anyone, especially these public officials. If they don't accept your check, which this should not be no issue. Again, people are doing it every day. You have to be confident in knowing what you're doing. You go to a different bank if you're not having success, okay, and deposit your check. Okay, there's no need to be afraid. There's no need to, again, if you read the laws and you educate yourself and you learn, you're gonna see this is real. This is not fiction. Okay, this is not fake. It's there in the law books. It's there in the books. The problem is people don't read. How to redeem lawful money to get refunded back from the treasury. That's the number one question we get asked a lot as of recently. Well, redeeming lawful money on Form 1040. During tax season, you can claim lawful money by redeeming it on the IRS Form 1040. Now, to my understanding, I don't think, and with the studies and the research is still being implemented and done, you have to wait to you till tax season comes once a year. If you're a business owner, maybe you pay taxes a few times a year. That's when you can do it. Since the IRS Form 1040 line 21 has changed, the IRS has added schedules for one to fill out fill out if his taxes are more complicated or her taxes are more complicated than the normal American who endorsed the Federal Reserve all year and has no other means of income, deductions, credits, etc. Form 1040 line 21 is other income. And since lawful money is not a Federal Reserve note, it constitutes as being a separate form of income. You can either redeem for the entire year, or if you do not redeem the amount for the full year, write the redeemed amount as a negative amount by putting the amount redeemed in parentheses on line 21. Okay, as is showed in this sample here. Sample line 21 on the IRS form. How to claim lawful money on the IRS 1040 form. Lawful money is a credit on account, which is why it is represented in parentheses. When you make your demand on your paychecks or on your account signature card, you are claiming redemption in lawful money. It's a demand for credit on account in lawful money. Since lawful money is not taxable, that will make it a deduction. Given the nature of lawful money and based on the language used in the IRS schedules, we can likely conclude that we will be making our claim for lawful money deduction on schedule number 1 or schedule number 5. This sample has been sent to you guys in the email with this show notification. So you should be getting this from Team A.W.A.R.E. Okay. Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight. I'm going to leave the lines open in the chat for an additional 15 minutes so If you have a question, please ask it in the chat section, and one of our Team Aware members will respond to your question in the order which it was received. I thank you guys for being here, for participating, for sending your emails, for thanking Team Aware, for just being grateful. You know, there's one thing that I learned in my toughest times of my life was the attitude of gratitude. When I was down and out, okay, because trust me, okay, being from New York, you go through some things, especially born and bred, okay, in the Bronx. You go through some things, and you go through some trials and tribulations, and this could be anywhere you reside. You could reside in Compton, California, Philadelphia. There's bad neighborhoods, there's good neighborhoods, there's all types of environments all over. I get that. You know that. You've experienced tough times as well. But what has saved me in my toughest of toughest times has been the attitude of gratitude, being grateful for the situation that was happening to me, because I knew there was going to be something better after it was all said and done. I have a saying, it's only a moment in time. So whenever I'm going through some tough times or any trials and tribulations or anything that's not of love and light, that's not appealing, that is not something that I appreciate, I always have the attitude of gratitude. Always look for the pros in any situation that has so many cons about it, and your life will become different. Start surrounding yourself with people of like minds, people who want to go and grow, okay? People who want to go and grow with you. Okay, if you're around energy vampires, people who do not believe in this, dismiss them from your life, either temporarily or forever. That goes for friends and family. Why? Because they will no longer zap your energy. You'll no longer feel so tired around them, and you will start shifting your energy. You will start changing your mind. You will start having more prosperity, abundance, health, wealth. Or if you can just change a few things that are probably hindering you, that probably got you in the situation that you're in already. This is why health is so important for me, because when I changed my lifestyle many years ago and I implemented a plant-based diet, thanks to the many great people like the Dr. Sebis of the world, okay, Marcus Rothkranz, the Lou Corona, who have been doing plant-based for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, okay, and have succeeded and have healed and used the herbs, the power of plant-based foods to heal themselves. Not only did they heal themselves and their ability to transform and change their lives, but they were able to have an impact on other people. And that is my message for you. What impact can you have on other people that will be a blessing in your life tomorrow? Guys, I love you. Peace and blessings. Stay aware. One final thing before I do go, you can visit our website here at areweallreallyeducated.com to discover how our services can help set you and others, free. Services A.W.A.R.E specializes in secure party creditor, debt set-off and discharge, foreclosure relief, court and child support relief, Chapter 7 bankruptcy, business credit, custom packages created, suited for your case, and more. I'm going to leave the lines open for you guys so you can ask any of your questions. Anything that didn't get answered here, you will receive an email. If you leave an email, if you want a correspondence, you will have the ability to do that. If your question does not get answered tonight, I will do my very best to stay around for a few minutes. But once again, it is Sunday night here, and I have a very busy schedule for this week. And I appreciate and love you all. Stay aware.
You, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear
I, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear
that you will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States,
and will, to the best of your ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Vice President Johnson, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chief Justice, President Eisenhower, Vice President Nixon, President Truman, Reverend clergy, fellow citizens. We observe today not a victory of party, but a celebration of freedom, symbolizing an end as well as a beginning, signifying renewal as well as change. For I have sworn before you and Almighty God the same solemn oath our forebears prescribed nearly a century and 3/4 ago. The world is very different now, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. And yet the same revolutionary beliefs for which our forebears fought are still at issue around the globe. The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. We dare not forget today that we are the heirs of that first revolution. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage, and unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed and to which we are committed today at home and around the world. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty. This much we pledge and more. To those old allies whose cultural and spiritual origins we share, we pledge the loyalty of faithful friends. United, there is little we cannot do in a host of cooperative ventures. Divided, there is little we can do, for we dare not meet a powerful challenge at odds and split asunder. To those new states whom we welcome to the ranks of the free, we pledge our word that one form of colonial control shall not have passed away merely to be replaced by a far more iron tyranny. We shall not always expect to find them supporting our view, but we shall always hope to find them strongly supporting their own freedom, and to remember that in the past, those who foolishly sought power by riding the back of the tiger ended up inside. To those people in the huts and villages of half the globe struggling to break the bonds of mass misery, we pledge our best efforts to help them help themselves for whatever period is required, not because the communists may be doing it, not because we seek their votes, but because it is right. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. To our sister republics south of our border, we offer a special pledge to convert our good words into good deeds, in a new alliance for progress, to assist free men and free governments in casting off the chains of poverty. But this peaceful revolution of hope cannot become the prey of hostile powers. Let all our neighbors know that we shall join with them to oppose aggression or subversion anywhere in the Americas. And let every other power know that this hemisphere intends to remain the master of its own house. To that World Assembly of Sovereign States, the United Nations, our last best hope, in an age where the instruments of war have far outpaced the instruments of peace, we renew our pledge of support to prevent it from becoming merely a forum for invective, to strengthen its shield of the new and the weak, and to enlarge the area in which its writ may run. Finally, to those nations who would make themselves our adversary, we offer not a pledge, but a request that both sides begin anew the quest for peace. Before the dark powers of destruction, unleashed by science, engulf all humanity in planned or accidental self-destruction, we dare not tempt them with weakness, for only when our arms are sufficient beyond doubt can we be certain beyond doubt that they will never be employed. But neither can two great and powerful groups of nations take comfort from our present course, both sides overburdened by the cost of modern weapons, both rightly alarmed by the steady spread of the deadly atom, yet both racing to alter that uncertain balance of terror that stays the hand of mankind's final war. So let us begin anew, remembering on both sides that civility is not a sign of weakness, and sincerity is always subject to proof. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. Let both sides explore what problems unite us, instead of belaboring those problems which divide us. Let both sides, for the first time, formulate serious and precise proposals for the inspection and control of arms, and bring the absolute power to destroy other nations under the absolute control of all nations. Let both sides seek to invoke the wonders of science instead of its terrors. Together, let us explore the stars, conquer the deserts, eradicate disease, tap the ocean depths, and encourage the arts and commerce. Let both sides unite to heed in all corners of the earth the command of Isaiah to undo the heavy burden and let the oppressed go free. And if a beachhead of cooperation may push back the jungle of suspicion, let both sides join in creating a new endeavor, not a new balance of power, but a new world of law, where the strong are just and the weak secure and the peace preserved. All this will not be finished in the first 100 days, nor will it be finished in the first 1,000 days, nor in the life of this administration, nor even perhaps in our lifetime on this planet. But let us begin. In your hands, my fellow citizens, more than mine, will rest the final success or failure of our course. Since this country was founded, each generation of Americans has been summoned to give testimony to its national loyalty. The graves of young Americans who answered the call to service surround the globe. Now the trumpet summons us again, not as a call to bear arms, though arms we need, not as a call to battle, though in battle we are, but a call to bear the burden of a long twilight struggle, year in and year out, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, a struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself. Can we forge against these enemies a grand and global alliance, north and south, east and west, that can assure a more fruitful life for all mankind? Will you join in that historic effort? In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. Finally, whether you are citizens of America or citizens of the world, ask of us here the same high standards of strength and sacrifice which we ask of you. With a good conscience, our only sure reward, with history the final judge of our deeds, let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking His blessing and His help, but knowing that here on earth God's work must truly be our own.